Last year, I guess I should start it like this. Here I am, I'm at the top of the Grand Canyon, right outside the Bright Angel Lodge and Trailhead. And I came out here in September of 2025 last year, or 2024 last year, with the intentions of going from the South Rim down the South Kaibab Trail, up the North Rim, eating some dinner, and then coming back and coming up Bright Angel. Well, the trail punished me, and I was able to go from the South Rim to the North Rim, but it was extremely difficult. And I ended up spending the night in the lobby of the North Rim Lodge, North Rim Lodge, and then coming back the next day. And at 2 was a very grueling day. So the original plan for me this year was to try to do it at this time of year in October. And I got a good deal at Bright Angel Lodge. I was going to start at the North Rim, spend the night at Jacobs Lake, and then hike to the South Rim, spend the night at Bright Angel Lodge, which would have been tonight, and then hike back to the North Rim the next day. And I was hoping with the cooler weather that I would fare a little bit better. Plus now I know what to expect, and I just do things a heck of a lot smarter. Well, the North Rim Lodge burned down with the fire in July, but I paid attention to a Facebook page I've been following called Hikin' Grand Canyon, at HIKN, Hikin'. It's put on by a guy named Brian out of Phoenix. And after watching and reading a few of the people who have pivoted and are now doing South Kaibab across the Tonto Trail and then up Bright Angel, and you can either take it down to the River House and then come up Bright Angel, or you can just go right up Bright Angel, depending on how you want to do it. And so I decided to keep it because I kind of wanted this to be, I know, some people will do a marathon or do something super challenging every year, and I kind of wanted this to be my annual, or maybe I'll do it every couple, 2 or 3 years challenge, because it's pretty easy to get here from St. Louis and fly into Phoenix or Las Vegas or whatever. But it's just an amazing place. It's an amazing experience, and that's what I was going to use it for. So even though I'm not getting that tomorrow, it's not going to be easy. This is going to be a 19-mile hike, and most of you know it's down. I don't think I'll have the heat to deal with. It's supposed to be raining tomorrow, so that'll be something new and interesting. But it'll also make it nice and cooler, and hopefully it'll be a good day, and I'll have a good story to report back to you. But that's where I'm starting for my hike on October 13th, or tomorrow. We'll talk to you then. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I'm at tip-off point. This is as far as we can go because of the bridge situation and the North Rim thing. So it's maybe another, I'm not even going to guess. You'll have to look it up, but we'd be nowhere near getting towards the Black Bridge. And there is no water at tip-off point. And that's one thing to remember about South Kaibab, is there is no water on the South Kaibab Trail. So you need to make sure that you bring enough water with you for this. Now, once you get across the Black Bridge, less than a mile, there's a water stop, and then you'll get to Phantom Ranch, and they have water there. And then as you go further up North Kaibab, there's plenty of water. But take a look at the sky. The sun is finally coming up. I think I'm going to be able to get rid of this headlamp here for the rest of it, which is good. I was done with it, but I think we're going to have rain on and off all day. And I'll get a video, but it's right up there where we're going to go on Tonto West. And we're going to walk across this plateau, which is not anything I did last year when I came out. But we're in the canyon now, and it is very pretty with the clouds. So I'm kind of excited for the rain and a little bit of wet weather. But now it's time to take a break and have a snack. Like I said, we're a little over 2 hours in and about 4.5 miles. So big day ahead of us. Okay, here we go. Here's the sunlight. Hopefully we don't get a lot of rain, but this is a great little rest stop there. But having the clouds break the sun up, it might keep the trail a bit cooler when we go up Bright Angel. I was just talking with a nice couple in the rest building back there, and they were surprised at how empty the trail was, because they said this is the last weekend where the ultra runners like to come through and do the rim to rim to rim on there. And holy smokes, I'm not sure how people can do things like that, but and run down it. I tripped enough on my own. So here we go. We're heading down Tonto West. This is the trail here. If I was going to go rim to rim, I'd be taking it down there where I showed you the signs blocking it. And hopefully we'll get a view of the Colorado River along here. But this trail is going to be about 4 miles long and pop out at Bright Angel. Already, this is a pretty good trail, or pretty cool trail. One thing about when you're hiking the Grand Canyon is you have spectacular views every direction you look, all 360. And with the clouds coming in there, just look at that. That looks so neat. And look at the color contrast in the slopes over there on the far side. That's past the river. You can kind of tell where the river dips in down there at the bottom. Once again, hopefully I'll get the chance to see that. Yep, you're going to get a screenshot around every bend here, or a quick little video. Doesn't look like you just run and play on this field right here. Just all nice and smoothed out. But these bushes actually look like that. Oh, really makes for beautiful greenery when you're walking through it and along this. But it's intermixed with the cactus like you see here in there. So as much fun as maybe a goofball like me thinks it looks like, you could grab my brother and we could play football out here. No, not a good idea at all. Well, this is a little something I didn't expect to see, but you can see the trail comes up off there, and you just come right through, and there's just a little bit of flowing water down there, and you walk on the rocks. But other than that, most of the trail has been like this, surrounded by these nice canyon walls, and just a quiet. The other people I have seen on the trail, that couple, they just passed me. And you can see them up there. They're the only two people I've come across all day. So this has been a beautiful morning. It still can't be much above 60 degrees right now. Look at that. I just kind of walked around this on that trail. This just must be where the water is once again worn through the rocks to create this little canyon here. Just thought it was interesting. Guys, I am not sure if you can see it or not, but on that first ridge over there, there's that long white line. And I'm just wondering if that's the new water line coming over to the south rim that they've been working on all summer. It kind of looks like a job site over there. But can you imagine being part of that crew and pulling that thing over from, 24 miles that way or whatever, and then working in this heat, and you still got to get it all the way up there somewhere. But whether that's it or not, still quite the engineering and human performance miracle right there. I hope that shows up, guys. Can you see the double rainbow there? Pretty cool. It's still raining right now, and I was right. That is part of the water line being brought over. Let me get you around this bend here and keep looking at those rainbows. Am I high enough? No, but if I was high enough, you could see, oh, maybe it is. Up over the hill there, you can see the construction site. So as we get a little closer, I'll maybe take some more video of that. There, Tonto Trail, so it must be running, which I wonder farther to go to even be able to see. Good caution here for anyone who's going to hike the Grand Canyon. There isn't any water on the Tonto Trail, even though I really like that trail. And there isn't any water on Bright Angel, which I mentioned before. And you could see from where I was walking in some of the videos I had taken, that trail's completely exposed. So if you're going to walk it, middle of the day probably isn't a good idea, especially, in summertime. But you do want to make sure you have all the water you're going to need while going into it. Now we're going to transition off of the Tonto Trail and onto, this is Tonto East, given all the warnings. But we're going to head down to the River Rest House. I think that's as close as I can get to the Colorado River today. But before I get going too far, I'm going to find out where there's some water on here. Not that I need any, but that's where I'll plan on taking a little break, eating some more of my sandwich, and I'll work down. I've only got 10.5 miles left in this day, but there's going to be 3 miles going down right here on this Bright Angel Trail. Then I'm going to flip it around and do the 6 miles up. And from what I remember from last year, it's a bugger. It's steep. I did it in the middle of the day last year, which was not very smart. Today I got all this cloud cover and it's not super hot. It's probably about 75 degrees right now, and that is a pure guess. But I do feel warm in my coat. I just don't want to take it off because the showers keep coming in and out here. Can you hear the stream? Right here you can see all the vegetation walking right along the stream here. And it's pretty nice. So I'll film a little bit more once I get to the rest stop. Okay, here I am somewhere in the canyon on Bright Angel Trail. I'm still headed down. And you can see, if you look over there, there's some people walking. There's a corkscrew right down there. It goes right along. And imagine somewhere right along in there is where I get to stop for a snack and some water there. It just dawned on me. There is some kind of a special torture going down the way you're just going to turn right around and come back up. This trail just keeps going right on through that crevice. Okay, I made it to the river down here at the bottom of Bright Angel Trail. I don't think it's the start of Bright Angel Trail. I believe that starts at the Silver Bridge, which was down around the bend here, but we're not allowed to go there. Once again, I can show you a little bit, I think, of the pipeline work being done. You can see that black line running all along the wall there. That's why the river trail is closed. Plus, they must be turning it here and bringing it back up a little bit too. But pretty cool. Okay, as I said, I'm going to go up We get a little bit to eat and then take the 6-mile walk up to the top of Bright Angel. All right, guys, I am at the River Rest House, which is right at the bottom of the Bright Angel Trail. I don't know if you can see behind me, but that is the Colorado River, and there's a little stream running right to the left of me over here. But this is, I thought I'd only have 6 miles left to go, but I have more like 7 left to go. And these are the 7 tough ones. When I got here last year, I'd already come down, I think I started about 3:15 in the morning, down North Kaibab, then over and across the river to right here. I was very much depleted, had not much food. Luckily there's plenty of water, and there's plenty of water on Bright Angel, and that's why everyone finishes with Bright Angel. And that'll be my next stop, is Havasupai Gardens. But in any case, probably got here, I don't know, maybe around noon. Right now it is, let's find out. It's only 10 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to see, maybe I can, like I said, it's about 7 miles. We'll see if I can make it up. I've got a little bit more energy by 3 o'clock this afternoon. You're going to see this is a steep climb, and let me just turn this camera around and show you. You know, when we're looking up right there, and that's not the top. That's not where I'm headed. I've got to head in, and even a little bit higher up than that. So it's aggressive, but I'm going to let the camera run every now and then so you can kind of see the different environments you go through as you're coming up the Bright Angel Trail, because it is interesting. Like right here, it's all lush and green. It's all along this little stream right here that I was telling you about. And it's pretty, and right now, because we got all this cloud cover, and it's just a cooler day because of the rain, it's beautiful. But not going to make it if I don't get started, so let me get going. And we'll start with coming out of this River Rest House. And all these rest houses have an emergency phone that if you need to get a hold of a ranger, you can. But we're going to come walk across this little trail here, and I'll show you the first part of Bright Angel as we get going. This I found a little bit of an interesting warning sign. The bottom of the canyon, whoa, is the hottest part of the canyon, and so you really need to pay attention to it. And one of the people that I found on Facebook actually post the shade schedule for this part of the trail, so that you're not walking in the bright sun. You know, you find it and you know enough to pay attention to it. But as you can see right here, it's rather flat and lush, but that'll change here in a bit. Okay, back there when I said we had more to do. So like I said, I'm in the perimeter of the canyon here by the river. We're going up to the top above those whitish rocks that are above the red rocks. And right now, we're just moving right along the standard trail. So you can see nothing too out of the ordinary from any other place you've been. And right along that little stream that I crossed over back at the river rail, our rest house. Slightly inclining, but up here we come to the Devil's Corkscrew. This right here starts what I think is called the Devil's Corkscrew. It is a series of switchbacks and a pretty steep incline, which I think you might be able to see already. And so what I'll do is I'm going to show you this right here, and then we get to the top. Hopefully I can fit it all in, but that'll be in a few minutes. This will take me a bit. I'm about halfway through with the Devil's Corkscrew, but this gives you a good glimpse You can see down there and see all those switchbacks right there. So a little over a mile into this return trip. Now we're getting back to a gradual incline with the occasional switchback as it follows the contour of the canyon up. But you can see how high I've come. I'm almost to the top of the inner canyon. Probably take another hour more. I've gone about 1.5 miles. We'll keep pumping. Now we're getting ready to enter into a little swampy part of the trail here. You just got to bite the bullet and walk through a lot of this mud that you see here. Or on the rocks if you can. No way to put it other than it's just goopy right here. And I just splashed it all up on my knee. But here is the actual stream that I guess overflows. So you just walk those rocks over, and then we'll see more of that stream probably up there at Havasupai Gardens, because that's probably why it's able to be called a garden. Here's where I pumped out of a Tonto Trail a little bit ago. If I would have gone this direction, I'd be a couple hours closer to my car in the parking lot, but I wouldn't have seen the river. 3 miles down. You got 6 miles to go from here. Anyone see my car up in the parking lot up there somewhere? Still got some climbing to do. It's kind of funny to me how this part of the trail is so clearly defined and marked with these rocks. Like, what prompted them at one time to come out here and put all these rocks up like this? Were people wandering off the trail, or things getting washed away? But I mean, it's nice. I'm not going to complain. It's just interesting right here out of all places. Okay, this is the Havasupai Gardens rest area. The water stopped. We're heading up here now. Quick enough break. Okay, I knew I was going to have to turn steep sometime. We couldn't go up at that gradual pace. Otherwise, we wouldn't get to the top for another 6-8 weeks. So here is where we start getting steep and start putting in a little bit more effort. Unfortunately, it will get tougher than this. So stop at the next rest stop, get some more drinks. Might have to stop a few more times. But now we just take it slow and easy. Work our way up. All right, see you at the top.
Yeah, exactly. Not far.
Not much further now, nope. Okay, this is a 3-mile rest house. I have one more rest house. It's the 1.5-mile rest house. We'll see how I'm feeling when I get there, if I'm going to stop or not. But it is about 12:30 in the afternoon. And the good news is that that was a 3-mile rest house. That means only 3 miles to the top. And we're in a little bit of a rain, but it's beautiful. Everyone stopped into the rest house and put their coats on. All of a sudden it got very cold from the bottom down there, and fairly windy. So let's hope the wind stops down. But we're on the final stretch. I might be done with this thing by 2:30, 3 o'clock. This is where it gets a little funky and rocky, but it's not for long. You just gotta watch your footing as you move through it. You can tell we're slowly leaving the niceness of the greenery behind us. Whoa, heading up, getting a bit more and more aggressive. Can you see the 3 Mile house out there in the distance? And gang, I might have been wrong earlier. That might not have been the Devil's Corkscrew. This could be it right here, because that was super challenging. But if that first one was a Devil's Corkscrew, then that one back there must be his wife, because that part of the trail was a real beep. As you can see, we're walking through a lot of muddy water as we finish up this last few miles of the hike. And there's still trail runners out. Those people are always amazing to me, how they can just keep running this trail. I have a hard enough time just walking up it. All right, sitting about mile 4 1/4, you can see the trail right there, and you can watch it go all the way down in the valley. That's where we were. Right here's where we're going. There's a bunch of what do you call it? Switchbacks right here. Still got to work our way up there, but we're going. There we go. Trail's still pretty muddy, but it has fewer of those little excuse me, breaks in it that cause puddles. I'd love to know where I am. Am I 2 miles or 2.5 miles away from the top? We're certainly going in the right direction. Let's see if I can get a good glimpse of the canyon again. Oh, here they come back. See the puddles. And now that the sun's coming out, it's getting nice and hot again. Look at that. It's just gorgeous. Doesn't that still look like a long ways to go? Like it's a lot more than 3 miles. I remember when we were looking up at the tops of some of these things, now we're about level with them. Still got to get way up there. But pretty sure I'm headed in the right direction. Looks like I'm walking right into a sheer rock wall. But at least I can see the trees on the top now. It's amazing. Once again, looking back down into the canyon where we came from. And then we're going to walk right here through our first little archway. Always a good sign that we're just about done. Look at that down there. One last look. We're about at the top here. We come around the corner here, you're going to see the first arch, or for me it'll be the final arch. So let's take a look at that. Get a little bit of tape up at the very, very top. See it up there? And then we'll call it a day. And there we go. There was the tunnel. I got a couple more turns here. You can see the people up at the top right there. We're very, very close now. Okay, it's 1:15 in the afternoon. We're at the 1.5 mile roadhouse. I just got done taking a break and filling up my water. Let me get this all turned around. So probably should have said this from the beginning. These houses, I'm sure you've figured out, these rest areas they're measured from the top down, not from the bottom up, which is the way I was coming from. Sorry, I gotta look at the ground. This is always fun right here, walking right out of the canyon to the trailhead. There's a big Bright Angel sign up here. Sometimes there's people waiting for their friends or their loved ones to come up, and they give them a great big old cheer, because that's an endurance test and it's a lot of fun. But I'll sleep well tonight. Hi. Let me get some videotape of this sign here. But right there is the sign. And there we go. Finished around 2 o'clock today. Not bad. Tourists, I'll go get their picture taken. Say hi to my dad. I'm beat up, actually, just a little bit, but some more video to come.